Alright, good afternoon everybody, and what we're going to be doing today is talking a bit about the Havoc Demon Hunter. A lot of the Havoc Demon Hunter is all about the mobility choices that it can end up choosing, and again this is on the 7.0.3 Legion pre-patch launch. Now, starting this off like we normally do, we're going to take a look at what talents are available, and we do only have 2 tiers currently at this time. And starting this off, Fel Mastery is going to be the very first one in line. It increases Fel Rush damage by 50% and grants 25 Fury when Fel Rush damages at least one target. This is going to be very solid in almost every single situation, and we'll go over that a bit more here in just a second, but more than likely you're going to be taking Fel Mastery just to even out your damage completely at this point. The next one's going to be Chaos Cleave, and basically it makes Chaos Strike hit an additional target for 50% damage. If you have 2 targets, and I mean 2 targets, if you get a 3rd target, this is useless. If you have 1 target, this is useless. But 2 targets, this will actually edge out Fel Mastery just a tiny bit. Not a lot, but just a bit. And then Blind Fury, all it's going to do is increase the duration of I-beams by 50%. This is alright for huge amounts of ads that'll be coming in, if they come in around the time that the cooldown's going to be off on I-beams. But most of the time that doesn't happen, so Fel Mastery is just going to overtake just about every other one. Now level 100 you have Prepared, which reduces the cooldown of Vengeful Retreat by 10 seconds and generates 40 Fury over 5 seconds if you damage at least one enemy with Vengeful Retreat. Pretty solid for Fury generation, not so great for excess damage from doing the Vengeful Retreat, and it also takes a lot of the utility side of Vengeful Retreat out of the game because you're going to use it in a main rotation. Demon Blades, your auto attacks have a 75% chance to deal additional shadow damage and generate Fury. This is awesome and boring all at the same time. Unfortunately, this is going to be the best choice out of all of them for a solid amount of additional damage in a single target fight. The other bad part about it is the fact that it takes a button completely out of the rotation, so you're working on nothing, unfortunately, and that's part of the problem currently at level 100, but we'll go over that in the gameplay. And then you have Demonic Appetite, which is Chaos Strike has a chance to spawn a lesser soul fragment, and consuming any soul fragment grants 30 Fury. This will be great in a questing situation as you have 0 self-heals whatsoever. So whenever you start killing rare elites or whatever as we level up through Legion, this will probably take a little bit of a benefit to end up giving you some healing back. So now we're going to take a look at the stats since we got the talents out of the way and talk a little bit on it. And what you're looking at is agility is going to overtake everything just like it normally should. Critical Strike's right behind it due to the mechanic on Chaos Strikes. Versatility is going to be right there also just because of the overall damage, haste, and then mastery. Now I feel that those last 3 really don't matter. As long as the piece of gear has got Critical Strike, it doesn't matter what the 3rd, 4th, and 5th are going to be, because they're going to do a little bit additional damage either direction. And later on, whenever you get there to the level 110, you're going to have this change up just a bit to end up helping out. I believe haste will more than likely end up taking over what versatility and mastery will, but that's just my thought. So let's talk a bit about the gameplay on the Havoc Demon Hunter. What makes it good? Currently it is very lackluster. There's not a whole hell of a lot going on, especially if you took the single target build that I just showed, to where you're taking Fel Rush or Fel Mastery and you're taking the extra damage through Demon Blades, which makes it very, very passive, unfortunately. But that's where you're going to get most of your damage. You get the proc quite often for the additional Fury, and it makes it to where you feel like you're just spamming Chaos Strike all the damn time, and that's about it. Knowing how to end up playing this and maximizing it's going to be where you're doing your best. So let's say you do end up going Fel Mastery and Demon Blades. Most of the time, yeah, that's going to be what you're doing, but you're going to still want to keep your Fel Rush on cooldown. And the best way to do that is to actually get on either the right or left hand leg of whatever boss that you're attacking and just Fel Rush the other direction. Some people like Fel Rushing through the boss and then, you know, doing the little jump back, the retreat, and then doing it yet again. That's awesome also, except for the fact that in most raid situations, You don't want to be in front of the boss, no matter what. Anytime you end up in front of the boss, you take a chance of actually dying, and it's just going to kill you. And you're also losing the slowing retreat if you've got to slow down an ad or something from retreat. So basically the best thing about that ability is the slow, and you're going to want to use it for that situation. Basically rush out to an ad that ends up spawning that you need to stop, retreat, rush back into it, and then you'll be able to maintain that kind of damage. That helps out a little bit better than what everyone's saying for that talent to be used for the additional fury generation. It's really not worth it, and you actually generate more fury and damage from the passive ability, unfortunately, because that makes the gameplay a little bit slower. So that's just the basics on that mechanic. You know, using the fell rush, use it just right. Make sure that you're going from one leg to the other and never in front of the boss, because you don't want to kill yourself by going in front of the boss. When it comes times for ads, this is where the rotation is going to differ a bit. Other than just using Fell Mastery on cooldown in most situations, you're going to actually want to end up timing it. When ads come in, you'll end up using it then, but never let it overcap, because then you're just losing out on damage all the way through and through. But this is where you're going to really shine. You're going to actually swap out your Chaos Strike, Fell Rush, Auto Attack, Rotation, which is very bland and boring, with Blade Dance. And then you also have I-Beams, which does a huge amount of damage, and you should always keep this on cooldown also. But always try to make sure that you're timing I-Beams for when ads are coming in to help get them down as quick as possible, because I-Beams has no justice on what it hits. Same thing goes for Fell Rush. If you're using it and Blade Dance together on trash packs, you're usually going to see it disappear quite quickly. All in all, just like any ability use, you're going to want to make sure you're maintaining max amount of uptime on any one of your buffs and getting the best out of it. Now there's also a discussion going around about when in Metamorphosis whether or not to use Blade Dance or whatever the hell it turns into at that point, or just sticking to Annihilation. I say just stick to Annihilation in a single target. If you have at least one ad pop up, use the Blade Dance style ability. I can't remember the name of it right now, I'm so sorry. Really, that's what's going to end up taking. The reason why I say this is for two different reasons. One, if you end up critting with Annihilation, it still ends up having a chance to refund the fury of what you just spent, as to where Blade Dance does not. The other is Blade Dance's animation. You can get about 3 Chaos Strikes in during that time that it does one animation. So you're kind of losing that extra damage. But if you have one additional ad come in, then it takes over. This is where the damage change is going to end up happening. If you're playing your Metamorphosis completely to 100%, you'll be a lot better on your burst. Now with it being a 5-minute cooldown, which really sucks because you only get to use it once per fight, you're going to use it whenever you end up lusting. Just because you're going to have additional attack swings, you're going to end up building more fury generation off of those melee swings, and it's just going to be a ton of additional damage for the simple fact your global cooldowns are going to be rocking better. It's just like any other class. Use your heaviest cooldowns during your burn phase, which is going to be your lust phase. Now, normally I'll end up having a rotation breakdown here, but really it's a 3-button rotation. If you don't know which buttons that we're talking about at this point, you need to go roll a Demon Hunter because you haven't obviously seen them. It's not a hard deal to end up doing, and this is kind of a guide made for people that are actually trying to do a little bit better with their Demon Hunters. Now, everybody's rocking the trash meters and the damage meters right now, but I've seen a lot of Demon Hunters really struggling on the single target. And unfortunately, it has to do a lot with how passive they are and the fact that they're missing certain buttons. But you can still do very, very well. You just need to learn how to use your abilities and when to use your abilities. And always, 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 if there's at least one piece of trash that comes in, you want to actually focus on killing that trash, just for the simple fact you're going to get additional damage. And if it just so happens to be a demon, let's say Zul'Harrak, and you're killing off those little demons there, you end up collecting one of their souls, and you're going to do 10% increased damage for a small duration of time also. So this is another way for you to increase your damage if you're focusing down these ads. Make sure you're playing this thing smart to all its passives and its main abilities, and you'll do just fine. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed yourself, and as always, thanks for watching.